everybody, and welcome to this version of the Purpose and Profit Sisterhood podcast. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Jeanette Anderson, and I am here with the bodacious Karen Yankovich. Is it Yankovic or Yankovich?
Yankovich.
Yankovich. Okay. I forgot to ask you that. And we've talked before, and she's fabulous expert on LinkedIn and all things LinkedIn, but so much more than that as well. And I just kind of feel like you're a sister from another mister, because we've both been at this for quite a while and have similar kind of sensibilities around really wanting to help people move forward and actually get value and return on their investment and so forth. So I'm glad you're here, Karen. Nice to see you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Jeanette.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to, as you all know, I'll give you the official lowdown on Karen, and then we'll go get the real juicy, tidbits behind the scenes.
The good stuff.
Yeah, and then we're going to launch into our topic today, which is the power of LinkedIn and PR, especially for female entrepreneurs. So you all know that that's an important topic. So stick around. And by the way, if you've got questions in the Facebook group, please put them in the chat, and I will pass them on to Karen if we've got time. Okay, so today we have a very special guest, someone who embodies the spirit of empowerment and innovation. She's a LinkedIn strategist, business consultant, and the visionary CEO of Uplevel Media, LLC. With a passion for helping women take control of their destinies and build legacy through thought leadership. She's here to share wisdom on leveraging LinkedIn and PR to skyrocket your influence and income. Please welcome the host of the Good Girls Get Rich podcast and a true champion for women's success, Karen Yankovich. Welcome, welcome. That's great. I love that intro, because it does really fit you in terms of the desire to empower and lift women up, but also to get them on being seen. Like, let's get out there. Let's get
yes.
Yeah. So well, before we launch into that, the deep, juicy stuff behind the scenes, that's all very, cool and professional, and you've been doing it a long time. Now tell us something we wouldn't guess about you.
Yeah, so I love strategy. I love LinkedIn strategy. I love sales strategy. I love marketing strategies. I love geeky spreadsheets and statistics and analytics, but I also have a very strong right brain. I'm a Reiki master. I am a certified dream coach. I really think that we need both, right? We can't discount the strategy, but we need to remember that there is a right brain, a feminine side to all of us too. And yeah, so I love to bring this together. If you look at our She's Linked Up program, actually, I'll show you if you're watching it. You see our logo is like a little yin yangy, and that is for that exact reason, right? Because we want to really bring the right brain and the left brain together. So while the strategy is important and it's a big part of what I do and what I love to do, nothing is gonna get you faster to your goal than the mindset and the energy and the stepping into the vibe of who you want to be faster than the right brain work.
Okay, I like that. And speaking of the right brain side of things, I'm not sure quite what it says, but there's a sign up on your bookcase that looks to me like being your own mermaid.
Yes, it says be your own kind of mermaid. There's a little tiny bit of a story around that. I was having a day, and I went into my kitchen to make a cup of tea, and I grabbed my Wonder Woman mug, and somebody had given me this mug and like, you're Wonder Woman and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be Wonder Woman. Like, I don't want to be Wonder Woman. And right next to it was like be a mermaid. I'm like, this, I want to be a mermaid. I want to just swim into where I want to be. I want to be a mermaid, not Wonder Woman. I want to ease into what I'm doing and flow into what I'm doing, not fight every step of my way. So we've kind of, from that moment on, I've embraced the mermaid energy in my business. There's another mermaid over here.
Oh, cool.
Because I was like, it was just a defining moment for me. I picked up that mug and I was like, oh, I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to fight. I want this to be easy. I want this to be simple. I want this to flow. So, hence the mermaid empire
I thought
was born
about that.
Yeah.
And I think it's I love in particular that it's be your own kind of mermaid,
Yes,
right? It's
yes.
very individual because not all mermaids are the same, right?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
like,
It's such an important part of everything that I teach is do it your way.
love it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about why you do this work. What is your why? What's your purpose?
Yeah.
So,
You know,
and
so
not just LinkedIn, but you care passionately about the
oh
whole
yeah, I
thing.
want there to be more wealthy women in the world. I think wealthy women with money can change the world. We have more choices. We can donate money to where we want to donate money to. We can, we have more, we can change the world. So I want more women to have more money. And that doesn't mean that I only help women. I just think women need more champions. And that's why I'm here. But really, it comes down to, I've been around a while,
Mhm.
and I had to unlearn a lot of things. If you had told, 10-year-old Karen that she'd be sitting here with a microphone on a podcast, they'd be like, no way, right? No way. I mean, I'm old enough to remember we couldn't wear pants to school, so if you go back to episode 1 of my podcast, I talk a little bit about that journey. So I had to unlearn a lot, and I have 4 kids and 5 grandkids now, and I just want, and what I see is they have different choices than I had, which is amazing, but we're not anywhere near as far as we should be. The gender wage gap is still entirely too big. It was in 2019, it was a $500 billion. 2019, 5 years ago, right? The gender wage gap was still a $500 billion, and that's before the pandemic. I bet it's even bigger now, right?
Mhm.
So I just think that I don't regret anything that I did in my journey and how what I did and when I worked and how I worked raising my kids and my family. But I am glad now to be a champion to let women know that they have choices and they
Mhm.
can build a business and a career, a very lucrative one around how they want their life to look and what their genuine talents are. And that's really what I stand for. And I think that's where the biggest abundance comes into our life when we embrace the ease, the mermaid energy, right? We embrace the ease, and build our life and our business around that. And somehow we think it has to be hard. And
Yeah.
I'm here to help you understand it doesn't have to be hard.
Yes. Yay. Amen, sister. Amen. And I agree with you about the wealthy women will change the world. There's a lot of women who have stuff around money. Well, there's lots of people in general, but particularly women, which is part of that gender wage gap. And really owning the fact that wealth gives us choices and it simply amplifies who we are. It doesn't
Yes,
into bad people. If you're a good person without money, you're going to be a good person with money.
exactly.
If you're a dick
Exactly.
without
Good
money, you're going to
people
be a
with
dick.
money do good things.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So why so passionate about getting them seen as well, like really getting them out in the world? So
You know
yes,
what?
you can make money, but why?
Yeah.
Because you can make money without being seen in the world.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can. And like we said, there's not any one right way to do this, but a lot of the women that I work with
Mhm.
tend to be in some kind of transition, right? Maybe they were in corporate and they decide they want to be an entrepreneur, or maybe they've been just playing in this, I'm going to be a 6-figure coach game, which really keeps you broke, right? And they're not really thinking big enough that there could be a $250,000, $500,000, $1 million business in their future. So most of the women, or maybe they're just shifting careers altogether, right? Certainly, in 2024, that's happening more and more often. Many women are just not looking to go back to what they were doing in 2019. So what happens, what I find is that a lot of these women, at least the one I work with, they're not newbies, right? They've been around. They've got all this expertise, but they also have a little bit of imposter syndrome because all they've ever been is an employee, right? So as they step into their new role as a consultant or a coach or a real estate agent or whatever they decide their next chapter is going to be, I like the publicity piece. That's why I blend PR into everything I do, because when you are quoted in the newspapers and magazines and interviewed on podcasts as an expert in what you do, and you are, if you've been doing this for 20 years, no matter what your title is, you have that expertise. People start to believe that, and it makes you worthy of their investment. So as you're building up your book of referrals and testimonials and things like that, the publicity helps give you that credibility. So I don't think you have to wait for the publicity. I think the publicity should be one of the first things you do and
Mhm.
get that visibility and start showing up as a thought leader and as an expert. And again, it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you are just looking to make a couple bucks to pay for ballet school for your kids, that's cool. But if you want to build a profitable business and leave a legacy and leave generational wealth for your children, then you have to think differently, right? So there's no time like the present to start looking for the biggest freaking contracts you can dream up. And that's another big piece of the work that I do. So many women, when they're moving into this transition, they think, well, I need to just sell another pen, right? I sell pens. And I want them to think, no, let's find a distributor that wants to buy 100,000 of your pens, right? But when that distributor that wants to buy 100,000 of your pens checks you out, if you have any publicity or that visibility, it adds to your credibility. It helps you land those contracts, right? So it's all part of the strategy, and it can be done with ease. It can be simple. It's just a process, and you just kind of go through it.
Okay, so I'm madly writing because you've said 5 things that I want to follow up on before we LinkedIn, for the love of God. Okay, so let me go back right to the very beginning where I heard many people go glurk in their heads out there listening to this, that being a six-figure coach or aspiring to be a six-figure coach will keep you broke. Say what now?
Yeah. So if you had a six-figure income as an entrepreneur, I mean, as a paycheck, right? You took six figures home. Yeah, you paid your taxes, right? But you put six figures in your bank account. As an entrepreneur, when you start paying all the things you need to pay for, all of the $10 a month times a million things,
Mhm.
all of the coaches that we need and the training that we go to and the Zoom, the professional Zoom account and the professional Canva account and all that stuff, it's not enough money. And I talk to so many people who are struggling financially because they feel like their business is making all that enough money, but there's never any money in their bank account. I want
Mhm.
there to be six figures in your bank account. And if there's six figures in your bank account, you need to be shooting for I think $250,000. I am not a money coach or a business coach. I help you with that top line, right? I can help you get to that $250,000, and then hopefully there's somebody smarter than me with the money stuff and the business coaching stuff that can help you figure out how to get 100,000 of that 250,000 in your own personal bank account. And that's
Right.
really where I think we all need to be starting out. If you can't do that, again, if you're just looking to pay for ballet lessons, that I am not judging that. That's cool. But if you really truly are looking to make this a living and contribute to the household expenses and pay the mortgage and buy yourself a new car, you have to be looking at $250,000 a year at top line in your business if you're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And it is also one of those misnomers, and the reality is most people could earn more, most coaches could earn more if they went and got a job. So if you
Yes.
want to earn a certain amount, it's easier to go get a job, really,
Yes.
truly. It's only if you want to earn more than that base amount that you actually want to be an entrepreneur.
And
Okay.
to be clear, Jeanette, I'm not expecting anybody to just overcharge, right?
Yeah.
Like I have a whole process on how do you, like I said, I'm not saying don't sell a $1 pen, make it a $2 pen. I'm saying sell your $1 pens, but find somebody that needs 100,000 of them, right?
Yes.
And it's the same for coaches. Like we help our clients create these big, fat, juicy win-win-win packages
Yes.
that people are willing and anxious to invest in. And when
Yes.
you start there, you've got enough cash in the bank to pay people to help you with all the things that you're spinning your wheels doing.
Right, exactly. And that are in your zone of genius, and so therefore you resist and you probably don't do it, and it really needs to get done. So the other thing you said, another thing you said was you don't have to be an expert at PR, but having good PR makes you worthy of investing in. And so I know that there's lots of people out there who are thinking, I have to be the credible expert before I can go and get PR.
You are the
But
credible expert.
yes, so
You are. I
I
mean, have you not? Is there anybody here that's watching this right now that hasn't seen somebody on TV looking at them going, who is this person? Like they don't know what they're talking about. I know more than they know, right?
yeah,
We've all had that happen to us at least at one point in our lives. They had the confidence to go after that. Oprah's not going to come knocking on your door, right? You have
yeah.
to go after it. And when you go after it and you get an opportunity to share your wisdom and share your expertise, the world changes.
Exactly. And you know, one of the hardest lessons that I have learned over the years is that confidence trumps competence. The more
Ooh,
confident you are,
yes.
the more you go out and say, I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this, the more you will be successful than the person who is 10 times more competent than you. I learned that
Yes.
firsthand when I was in a program. And in this program, part of the program was you had to sell something, and whoever sold the most won. The person who sold the most, I could run circles around her in terms of value, but she was more confident than I was in her own value, and therefore she ran circles around me. And
And
so,
Jeanette, that's exactly why I focus on women. And
yep,
this is not male bashing at all, but men have more confidence.
yes,
There's studies that show if there's 10 requirements to get a job, a man will apply for that job if he has four of those,
yes,
those requirements. A woman needs 11 before
yeah.
they'll apply for it, right? So I want women to get in the game. And to get in the game, we need to have a little bit more confidence.
Yes, exactly. Well, and that kind of fits in with the other line that you said, that go get publicity because it will give you credibility. You don't need to wait until you've got some kind of proven credibility. Again, that goes in the face of what a lot of women believe. They think they have to have the book and the proven track record and stuff. How do you help them think about positioning themselves if they don't have that credibility?
Well, first of all, they probably do. I mean, I can't make up the credibility, right? But most of the women that I work with, again, unless they're fresh out of college,
Sure.
um, they've got years of expertise. This is not their first rodeo. So even if they've never had the title coach or consultant or whatever, let's just use consultant as an example. If you're in corporate, you probably saw these consultants coming in getting paid $500 an hour. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, I can do that better than them. I can't believe they're paying this person that much money, right? So now you're out there as a consultant and now you have imposter syndrome. So so you probably already have the expertise. But one of the first things we do in any of the programs that I run is we help you with your LinkedIn profile. Most of the programs we write it for you. And that right there starts to flip the switch because it's hard to write your own LinkedIn profile. It's hard to pull from all this years of expertise and really shine a light on your genius. It's not something that most women come naturally to, right? So once you start seeing that though, and once you start seeing us position you as that thought leader, and
Mhm,
some of the most we have written profiles for some of the most accomplished women in the world,
mhm.
and almost every single time they're like, oh, I feel like I'm bragging. I'm like, you did this stuff,
Yeah.
you earned this,
Yes.
like own it. So it really starts with that. That's where LinkedIn comes in. The LinkedIn positioning gives you that credibility. Your LinkedIn profile, when written properly,
Mhm.
positions you as that thought leader and that starts to get your brain thinking like, wow, I really do know this stuff, right? Like we're not making it up. So, and there is something to be said for dress for the job you want, right? I don't want you to fake it. But I also think you want to start to feel the energy of the person you're stepping into, right? Like if you are $100,000 a year business owner, and this is the year you're going to be $100,000 a month business owner, you first thing you need to do is start to feel like that, act like that, talk like that, right? I'm not saying we're going to go out there and lie about it, but you have to start leaning into that energy. So that's what we do. We help you start leaning into that energy. The first interview is always the hardest, but it's always the most exciting. And then when it's really just about having a conversation for the most part. And that's something that many women are really good at.
Yes, absolutely. And I often say all marketing is a conversation with one person. Same thing with media. You're
Yeah.
talking to that one person that you really
Yeah.
want to support and serve.
Yeah.
And it is that conversation that women are very good at. When we start thinking, oh, I have to be all this and all that in a bag of chips and talk to everyone, is when it
Hmm.
starts to go really wonky and go off track. Um, so I love that you're talking about thinking differently and thinking big. I promise we're going to get to LinkedIn, but this is such great contextual stuff that most people don't talk about and think about that I think is part of what sets you apart. Um, you talked about think of the biggest contract that you can dream up and then go get that. That requires a lot of permission and contextual expansion is what I call it, expanding the container for
Yeah.
people. What do you think is one of the biggest mindset shifts, even though I don't like that word, but mindset shifts that you work with people on to be able to go after that biggest contract, forget selling
Yeah.
and go get 100,000? What do they need to
Yeah. So, it really, one of the things those conversations are my favorite conversations to have with people. It's the first thing we do when people join our She's Linked Up Accelerator program is I get to have a one-on-one with them, and I get to really help them dream up big, and it just gets them out of their head.
Yeah.
Because we think like, well, I'm a yoga teacher and my neighbor down the road charges $11 for a yoga class. How can you're telling me you want me to charge $4,000? Like how does that even work? And what I do is help them get out of their head and say, all right, well, what about the busy executive woman? She's 50, maybe she's 60, maybe her rotator cuffs are shot and she can't down dog anymore. So she's not really going to yoga classes because and she can't fit them in her calendar. And the ones that fit in her calendar aren't the right for her. Imagine if you said to her, I got you. I'm going to work with you for 3 months. We're going to spend a day together once a month, and we're going to craft a very specific yoga practice just for you. And we're going to incorporate some meditations and some essential oils. And maybe once a month, you even get them a massage, right? But you're really changing it from a yoga class to like a wellness thing. I'm not asking you to step out of your lane. I'm not asking you to be a health coach, right? I'm saying help them craft a yoga practice that is easy on their crappy rotator cuffs. Maybe do a once a week virtual session with them, right? Like just dream it up, like make it yummy. And there are women that are going to be like, well, here's my credit card. I
Yes.
need this. I'm not doing yoga. I miss doing yoga, but I'm not doing it because the times don't fit in my calendar. And when I get there, it's a bunch of 30-year-olds that have their heads twisted between their legs and I can't do that anymore. And right. So that's what we're doing. We're not asking you to charge $20 for your $11 class. We're saying we like literally taking you out of your head and helping you really dream that up. And one of the ways there's so many ways we do that, but one of the things I always say is like, pick a number, let's call it $5,000, and like put some giant sticky notes, post-it notes on your wall, and just start to download for the next couple of weeks. Like, what could you be doing for that? Right? Like, I have $5,000 in my hand. I know you can help me. I want fast results. I'm willing to pay for that, right? Like, what can you do for me? And then just, again, dream it up. Maybe they come in maybe you fly to them. Maybe they come in from out of town and you send them a limo to pick them up, or you send them beautiful fresh flowers because that's going to, like, whatever is going to make your service be over the top amazing and serve them at the highest level.
Right. I really appreciate that because I think it does start to get people thinking differently and asking different, more empowering questions. Actually, the better the question is, the better. A good question is far more important than a good answer.
Yeah. Well, and just to give you a quick little corporate idea of this, I have one client who was having the same struggle, and she had this 5K corporate leadership training package. And we we made it a 10K package, and she built it all up and blah, blah. And I said to her, right 5 minutes before we were finished, I said, what if it was 20K? And she went, oh, well, then I can go on site once a month and I can do assessments of all their peers. She started like downloading all of these amazing things she could do. I'm like, well, that sounds amazing, right? Like, don't you think they want that? Like the 5K that you came in here with was your limitation, right?
Yes.
Like you just downloaded an amazing service for this company that you are not going to give them because of your money limitations.
Yes. I think that's brilliant. I should almost end it right there. However, I do actually want to really pick up some of your brilliance around LinkedIn. So, folks, listen to that last piece a time or two and really let it sink in. Really let it sink down into that part of you that has the resistance and wash over that to just kind of flush it out. All right, because that was gold. And when we really sink into that, that's when the business begins to change trajectory and take off. Okay, so thank you for that. And now let's talk about LinkedIn. Why so
Yeah.
passionate about LinkedIn? Why that platform?
Because to me, again, I've been around for a while. Um, in algorithms come and go.
Yeah.
Social media platforms come and go. The marketing strategy, at least the marketing strategy that I employ and teach on LinkedIn, is timeless marketing. It's human to human marketing. And I kind of, when I first started in this online marketing business, I wasn't focusing on LinkedIn. I was focusing on online marketing in general, but I found myself always bringing people to LinkedIn because my sales background was always very relationship based.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, hang on, people want to know more about you. Let's make sure you look worthy of their time. Let's make sure you look worthy of their call. We have this beautiful platform. The strategies we teach, you can literally pull out and just use without any platform. But we have LinkedIn, so let's use it, right?
Yeah.
Let's find the people, let's research the people in a very micro targeted way, and let's fill your calendar. I don't really care how many people see my posts.
Mhm.
What I care about is how many people are on my calendar and are they the right people? I'm
Yeah.
not looking to waste my time. I'm looking to build more ease into my business. Every single person I talk to wants more leads. This is how you get more leads. Talk to more people. If I ask 100 people, where did your biggest contract come from? 99, even maybe 100 are going to say from a referral, right? They don't say from a tweet or from an Instagram post. They say from a referral. So where do referrals happen? Referrals happen on LinkedIn. Let's make referrals repeatable by talking to more people and building out our network in a very tight, micro targeted way. I am not talking about spamming your network like we're seeing a lot of people do on LinkedIn. Talking
Mhm.
about being very intentional with who you talk to, just like you would in person or just like you might have in 1950. It worked then, it works now, and it's going to work next year,
Yeah.
regardless of the algorithms.
And I think works even better now because people have so much
Yes.
longing to come back out and connect after COVID.
Yes.
It is really more and more and more important to connect authentically. And again, another word that's overused, um, rather than the spammy kind of approaches that a lot of people do. What do you think is probably one of the biggest or top two or three mistakes that people make on their LinkedIn page or site?
Yeah, well, the first thing they do is they ignore it. They ignore it because they think it's all spam.
Yeah.
So, and when people say to me, "Oh, my inbox is nothing but people pitching me," my first question is, "Well, when was the last person you messaged?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't." I'm like, "Well, then, of course, it's all people pitching you. You're not messaging anybody, right?" So, I believe LinkedIn is your money tree, and I think that all of that pitching and stuff, those are the weeds. Let's ignore the weeds. Let's yank the weeds. Let's toss the weeds, and focus on watering your money tree. Focus on the strategy. So the first thing is use it. The second thing is thinking it's your resume. Your resume is all about who you used to be. LinkedIn is your brand. It should be positioning you for the person you're becoming, not talking just about the person you used to be. Nobody really cares if you know how to use Word or Excel. They care about what you can do for them. So creating a client-facing profile that really has you stepping into the job you want, the role you want in the next 12 months, and taking some time to really showcase your strengths. And again, nobody really cares about you. They care about what you can do for them. So taking time to craft a LinkedIn profile that is not like a resume, it is your personal brand, but that is also focused on how you help people, who you are, who you help, and how you help them, not just I'm a big deal.
Okay, you know what? You actually just kicked my ass in a major way. I've
Oh,
been,
good.
I've been
I love when that happens.
yes, me too. I have been resistant to LinkedIn because it's part of the more and the have to do this and this and this and this and this, even though I know that's where my people are. Um, and and a big part of it is I've been thinking of it like the same as every other platform where I have to engage, etc. And it feels like a lot of work. But when you said this is not your resume, you're positioning your brand for who you are becoming or how you can help them going forward, that's entirely where the value and the distinction of this is.
Yeah.
And in marketing in general, I think that's brilliant advice, but particularly for LinkedIn. And so the penny just dropped in terms of, okay, now I understand how to use LinkedIn. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Like
You're very welcome.
I get LinkedIn, but not from that perspective. And I have had several LinkedIn experts, and none of them have framed it that way. So thank you. And yes, being really clear on the benefits, what's in it for them. Okay, I can ask you about a million questions, but you've got something that will support our people. So it's this fun
Yeah.
quiz. So tell us about the quiz.
Yeah, so you're not alone when you're not sure what to do and where to get started on LinkedIn. And you said something too that I think is important that, things have changed now. The marketing has changed. A couple years ago, and I'm not again not knocking this because it worked for a lot of people, but you may be familiar with Russell Brunson and funnel hacking and do what everybody else does, watch the funnel, copy everybody, what everybody's doing. And that works. Maybe it still works for some people. But one of the reasons I find many people aren't on LinkedIn is they don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And they feel like that's what they need to do. They feel like they need to spam everybody. They feel like they need to do like funnel hack, hit the algorithm and do what everybody else is doing. And they don't want to be that person. So what we've done is we had so much fun pulling this quiz together. We've created this assessment, a what's your marketing style assessment, because everybody approaches it a little different. Maybe you're a white person, paper person. Maybe you are more of a people person. Maybe you are more of a shine a light on a particular issue person, right? So we've created this assessment. It's a very short assessment, but it's powerful. And we've done it because I want you to start using LinkedIn. And I know that very often you just don't know where to start. So this assessment's going to help you know where to start. And true to my nature, it's got a lot of the left brain and right brain stuff in there. It's got some of the left brain strategies, what to do. Is also, you're going to get a couple emails after you've taken it, what not to do. But we've also incorporated some really beautiful visualizations. Each type gets a visualization to help you start your day, right? In this powerful mindset. So when you step into LinkedIn, you're doing it from this position and this mindset of power, this energy of power. So it's all completely free, but it's because I want more women to be using LinkedIn. And what I hear time and time again is, I don't know where to start. This is where you start this assessment.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for that. And I'm assuming that if people want to get in touch with you, the best place is on LinkedIn.
It sure is. Tell me that in fact, what would be great is take a quick screenshot of this and post it on LinkedIn and tag me and tag Jeanette and tell everybody what you loved about this interview and connect with me. And, I'll be sure to share it with my audience, because now we're lifting each other up, right? Everybody's helping each other get more visibility. That's what I stand for.
Oh, okay. That was another brilliant thing that I'm going to start incorporating into my interviews. Thank you for that. About take a screenshot, tag us, post it, tag us. What a great way to do get people to support you with your marketing.
And we get to support them back, right? Because as you said, a lot of this marketing is one way, right?
Yes.
Makes it a little more interactive. We get to see who's listening, and we get to share that with our audiences, because then, our audiences, I have a pretty substantial audience. So when you do that, I'll share it. And then now they'll know who you are, right?
Exactly. And it makes it a really good way, especially if you're on podcasts, to give back, because these people have invested a lot of time, money, and effort in building their podcast and getting it out there. And most people, like from every podcast host I've talked to, and I've been podcasting, I have two now, I've been podcasting for over 4 years. Very few people actually promote the podcast. Very few do what they say they're going to do around promotions.
Right.
And so that would be a really simple, fun, and wonderful way to give back to that person.
And as a listener, if you're listening, right, what a great way to start to build relationships with the hosts of your favorite podcasts.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I would love to tell you I wake up every morning and see people tagging my show, and it doesn't happen that often. So when it happens, I see it, I remember it, and I'll remember you. So we love that, as do all media journalists, by the way. So it's just another one of a little piece of strategy that is such a beautiful thing, right? It's just supportive all the way around, which is something women typically are very good at. Support us, support your favorite journalists, share their stuff and tag them so they see you're doing it.
Exactly. And same likewise, if you've written a blog or an article or something that's out there, whatever it may be, whatever medium, you can do the same thing.
Yes.
And just as an aside, what I also do is provide video testimonials to a podcast host that I found particularly good and beneficial.
Great idea. It's a great idea.
They can use that to support their promotional efforts as well. So great content here, great ideas. I could literally talk to you all day, because I've already got 3 things starred on here that I need to action in my own work. And I've been at this for 40 years. So I love finding people who can kick my ass and expand my context. So thank you for that. I also want to point out, because I love meta teaching, so I hope you don't mind this, Karen, but those of you who are looking to do more speaking, what I want you to go back and listen to this episode for more, again, is not just what Karen said, but how many times she seeded the work that she does, because you need to seed well. So there was 11 that I caught, and probably a couple that I didn't. And yet you probably do not feel, I would assume you do not feel like you've been pitched to or spammed or anything like that. She did it brilliantly, better than most people I've ever had on my show. So I hope you don't mind me pointing this out.
No, I don't. And listen, I don't have a big red cross on the front of my building. Neither do you, and probably neither do your listeners, right? So don't be afraid to tell people, how you
Yeah,
can work with them, right? The last thing I want is somebody to hear it and say, wow, how do I get more of that? Like, no, no, you're going to know exactly how to get more. I'm going to
exactly.
make sure of that, right? And that's
Yeah.
what you guys should be doing too.
And she let
So
you
thank
know
you for that.
she has she has individual programs that she can work with you one-on-one. She's let you know that she has group programs. She let you know about her podcast. She let you know about the stuff that she's developing. And it was seeded throughout to establish credibility and to help with her own, positioning as well. Really well done. So if you're thinking of speaking, go back and listen to this from that perspective so that you can learn how to seed better as well, which is the third thing that I wrote down and put a star beside is I really need to up my seeding game. So thank you for that. And also great content and great tips. And again, if you want to reach out to Karen, please go and click on the link here or in the show notes on the podcast to take her LinkedIn quiz or her quiz on your marketing style. You'll get great information from that. I'm also going to go do it right now because I just love how you do what you do. It's a
It
great
was
way.
so much fun to put together, and we continue to add to it, by the way, because it's just
Awesome. Love it.
so fun.
And reach out to Karen on LinkedIn and other social media platforms as well, but on LinkedIn to find out more about how she can help you. She's a brilliant woman. We do a lot of similar things. We help people with a lot of the same things. And I believe that there is enough need in the world and enough people that we can help. And we're both so committed to making sure women are making money and making a difference that I don't care if she's my competition. I want you to go to her if she can help you so that
Right
you
back at you. There's enough business for all of us.
Yes, there is. And you want to go with the person that you resonate with, which is why I bring you experts who do what I do. So thank you so much, Karen, for making time and for being here. And I know we've gone a little long, but that's just because you're so good at what you do. And I want people to get lots of juiciness from you.
Well,
So
thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
you're welcome. Okay, now you all know that the key here is not listening to this and getting some ideas and writing them down. It's actually the implementation. So please go and put whatever aha or tip that you got into your calendar, put it into an action step and take action on it right away. Like today or now would be good. But if not, then tomorrow at the latest. So go and imply and implement what you've learned here. And please do take action on reaching out to Karen and or myself to start getting moving on those next steps. If you're feeling daunted by becoming a wealthy woman, you need someone like us to help you expand that context because, my friends, not only do you deserve it, but the world around you deserves to have you be the big person that you are. So stop playing small, my sisters. Let's go. Pitter patter. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon. Have a bodacious week. Bye for now.